Shalom. All praises to Yahweh Bashem, Yoshai Bashem, Arakal Kodash. Double honors unto the elder apostles, the great mill son, who well, and Shalom to the hopeful elect. This is Esther, the third chapter, and it reads: After these things did King Ahasuerus promote Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, and advance him and set his seat above all the princes that were with him. And all the king's servants that were in the king's gate bowed and reverenced Haman, for the king had so commanded concerning him. But Mordecai bowed not, nor did he did him reverence. Right. So this is, uh, a trend, or that's set in stone as far as the children of Israel and authority throughout the Bible from Genesis to Revelation. All right. That of whenever there was a so-called power that we were subject to, those of the Israelites who were in the righteous spirit, the correct spirit of the Heavenly Father, didn't revere or reverence any of, which is the same word really, revere any of the powers that be at that time. Because even when you go back to the book of Exodus, the book of Exodus, more so should I say, the Heavenly Father is our King, all right? That's something, we were set up to be above all nations upon the face of the earth. All right. That's why when you go into the book of um well, Daniel's a better example, actually, for the point that I'm trying to say. Daniel did the same thing when they brought up, spoke about the suck pot, the dulcimer, all kinds of manner of music being played, the flute and whatnot, that they were meant to bow before the idol of King Nebuchadnezzar, and Daniel did it not. All right. And this was because it's against our law, statutes, and commandments, our heritage, for us to reverence, man in that manner, especially when we've been ordained to be above all the people upon the face of the earth. All right. So this is a trend that's, you know, it's never gonna stop, and this is only the time that we're in right now is the same thing as well. We're right now, we're in the I wouldn't say the quiet before the storm, but you see the storm clouds gathering, and the weather is, you can feel the gusts of wind, and the rain coming. But as far as being in the eye of the storm, that's going to be in the moment of Jacob's trouble, all right, hour of temptation to tempt all upon the earth, whereby you won't be able to eat, all right, buy or sell, save unless you have the mark, all right, which the mark, we understand, MOTB, is that of a C hip, all right? And I'm saying it like that for the sake of this video not getting pulled down. But basically, if you don't take that, then you're gonna be um Esau. Well, depending on what the Heavenly Father sees fit, all right. Either you'll be delivered immediately, or you may be put to death for the sake of deliverance, all right. It speaks about in the book of Revelation, the second chapter, about having trouble for 10 days, all right, and then being released. But it also speaks about being faithful unto death, all right. But the point being that this is not new, and this is something that's always happened over and over again throughout the course of history when we deal with the children of Israel, because the Heavenly Father gave us His way, all right. Going back to the book of Exodus, we were tempted in the desert for 40 days, 40 years, all right. 40 years of 40 of days and nights, all right, being tempted to see whether, the heavenly, we would be right for the Heavenly Father. And the ones that weren't fit were basically exposed and cast out of the camp, right? This is no different in the time we're in now and the time that Mordecai was dealing with, and he showed himself righteous in what he did. So reading on, it says, Then the king's servants which were in the king's gate said unto Mordecai, Why transgressest thou the king's commandment? Right. So they're looking at it like you're speaking against the king. Now it came to pass when they spake daily unto him, and he hearkened not unto them. So this weren't a thing that he did it once or twice. This was a thing done daily. Unspoken amount of times. All right, that they told Haman to see whether Mordecai's matters would stand, for he had told them that he was a Jew. So this is how they gain an understanding as to why he was being so-called disobedient, right, concerning the things that the king had commanded, all right, because and this is why we always found trouble. Going back to 70 AD, why do you think the Romans, well, prophecy being the first thing, the oracles of the Heavenly Father, but because, through the actions that we, physically done was that we were rebellious. All right. We understood we were the Israelites and we weren't about anyone coming and telling us what to do because we had a power that told us what to do. Verse 5, even though you had the wicked Israelites going against that. And when Haman saw the more, because of the taxes, I'd even say it's probably the main reason taxes and, restriction of life. That's one of the main causes. But reading on, and when Haman saw that Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence, then was Haman full of wrath. So you can imagine this is accumulated amount of time, which led to him feeling this kind of a way. All right. So reading on, it says, and he fought scorn to lay hands on Mordecai alone, for they had showed him the people of Mordecai. All right. So those, king's servants must have shown him so made him privy as far as his people, all right, and that this weren't a problem as far as Mordecai had an issue with Haman, but it was a thing of a cultural issue, as Haman would have saw it. That there's a nation of people that would have done the same thing all up and down the empire, all right, the kingdom of Assuerus, the Medo-Persian Empire, and not paid reverence unto the king, and more so Haman thinking about himself. Wherefore Haman sought to destroy all the Jews that were throughout the whole kingdom of Assuerus, even the people of Mordecai. In the first month, that is the month of Nisan, in the 12th year of King Assuerus, they cast pur. All right, that is the lot. So they cast lots. Lots is, similar to rolling a dice, flipping a coin, all right, or maybe dropping um, some plastic coins in different colors and a lot in different numbers or whatever. That's costing a lot, all right? Before Haman, from day to day and from month to month to the 12th month, that is the month of Adar. So they basically cast lots upon a day and a month as far as working out when this thing should happen. And Haman said unto King Ahasuerus that there is a certain people scattered abroad and dispersed among the people in all provinces of thy kingdom, and their laws are diverse from all people. Neither keep they the king's laws, therefore it is not for the king's profit to suffer them. All right. Now, this, as we know, is the guile of Haman. All right. Haman himself is actually an Edomite. All right, pertaining to the Macedonian people, and this actual there's a hidden agenda he has, all right, and he's actually utilizing his power to do to use the king to do some of his dirty work because Haman has plans to basically take down the Medo-Persian Empire and install the Greeks in place as rulers, all right. Now, with that being the case, you can see that the Israelites, are a rebellious people, and that whether it's immediately at this point or later on down the line will become a threat. So this is, some utility, him being, wise as a serpent. I wouldn't say wise as a serpent, but more a demon. All right. Let's try to get out of the way as early as possible. Okay. So, with that point being said, um, Oh, that's the first. Because remember, what enraged him was the fact that Mordecai wasn't bowing before Haman. It wasn't like the king's servants where they were saying, "Why don't you bow before the king? Why don't you follow the commandment of the king?" It was more so to do with Haman personally, all right, showing you he's a proud and wicked man. And we know what it says about pride. Pride goeth before a fall. All right. If it please the king, let it be written that they may be destroyed, and I will pay 10,000 talents of silver to the hands of those that have the charge of the business to bring it into the king's treasuries. And the king took his ring from his hand and gave it unto Haman, the son of Hammedatha, 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 Ham- Hammedatha, uh, and gave it unto Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, the Jews' enemy. And the king said unto Haman, the silver is given to thee, the people also to do with them as it seemeth good to thee. Then were the king's scribes called on the 13th day of the first month, and it was written according to all that Haman had commanded unto the king's lieutenants and to the governors and that were over every province, and the rulers to every and to the rulers of every people of every province, according to the writing thereof, and to every people after their language. In the name of King Ahasuerus was it written and sealed with the king's ring. And the letters were sent by post into all the king's provinces to destroy, to kill, and to cause to perish all Jews, both young and old, little children and women, in one day, even upon the 13th day of the 12th month, which is the month Adar, and to take the spoil of them for a prey. The copy of writing for a commandment to be given in every province was published unto all people, that they should be ready against that day. The post went out, being hastened by the king's commandment, and the decree was given in Shushan the palace. And the king and Haman sat down to drink, but the city of Shushan was perplexed. So with that, I pray you're edified to the next one. Shalom. Shalom. Shalom.